Great. So I'm here with Linda, who is got some exciting news. Got a place on the London Marathon. So what we're going to go through today is Linda's kind enough to come on and share her story. Because she's on the program as well, and she's going through our Fit for Life program, so doing the exercise with it, and I'm obviously going through the nutrition, accompanied with the running, which is obviously going to be necessary. With the training, with the nutrition, and the build up to the London Marathon. So before we go all into that and into a bit more detail, if you could just say a bit more about you, Linda, really.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Linda Baker. I live in Wiltshire. Lived here back in the country for the last 4 years. I was living in France for 8 years prior to that. Got a partner for 17 years, 3 children, 2 grandchildren, and another one on the way. 2 dogs, and I work full time, so I have quite a busy life. And just decided to, I don't know why, but I just wanted the challenge and thought, right, let's put my name down for the marathon next year, and never thought anything else of it, really, to be quite honest. Just thought, oh, well, I'm not in with a chance. My poor brother has been trying for 7 consecutive years, never got in. He's gutted. But yeah, I was as shocked as the next person when I got the acceptance the other week.
So I guess it's good to know, like, have you done much running before, much training stuff before?
I challenged myself last year on the couch to 5K.
Yeah.
I did suffer a bit of an injury because I slipped in the snow, unfortunately, during the training, which has plagued me somewhat. But yes, I run, and then life takes over. My parents were ill, and I needed to be there for them, so that sort of got put on the back burner. But so I've done a little bit of running, but nothing compared to what I'm going to have to put myself through.
Yeah, there's a big challenge.
There's a big gap between doing 5K and 26.2 miles.
But the cool thing is you've done that and got a bit of a feel for it. And actually, do you enjoy it then? I guess that's the key thing.
I do, in actual fact.
Yeah.
As I was explaining earlier, my leg injury has not allowed me to go out very much recently, and I'm finding it frustrating not to be able to go out. I find it's quite good for my mental health, my well-being. It's a bit of me time when I just have to think about putting one foot in front of the other, and not have to worry about the pile of ironing or what we're going to have for tea tonight, or anything like that. So it's I do enjoy it.
Yeah, and I guess it's all well and good, like, you've been doing our home workouts, right? So you're doing your home workouts that upset you, but people could come in and you can get disrupted, right? Still.
Yeah, it's quite easy to go off piste, so they say. You can put your focus in place and everything. And I do realise that if you set yourself too strict a deadline, and it becomes harder and harder and harder to stick to. But if you do fall off the wagon, you've just got to just notch it up and think, okay, it's just one day. In the bigger scheme of things, it's just one day, and just pick myself up and then just get back to starting to it the next day.
Yeah, I always say that, and I know it sounds cliche, and it is harder when you're in that state of having the bad day to remind yourself of that, because it's almost subconscious, isn't it? Because if you're tired, if you're lacking sleep, you tend to just beat yourself up more. You compare yourself to others more. And I always say this, the only difference between somebody who gets a result who doesn't is the time spent dwelling when they fall off the wagon and get back on again. And like you said, it's just, you're only one meal, one workout away from being back on track with it. And yeah, I think that's important to remember. And like throughout this, so we are going to be documenting the journey. So Linda's going to document her journey with this, struggles, results, progress with it. Hopefully inspire you as well, even if it's, like I always say, to move 1% in the right direction each day. So if you didn't mention the charities that you're
I've done charity rides in the back. In 2013 and 2015, I cycled from Paris to London for Help for Heroes. My daughter works from them, and my son-in-law is a double amputee, a veteran, who has benefited from the contributions that Help for Heroes has made for him. So I'm going to be running for Help for Heroes. but I've also decided to run for the Wiltshire Air Ambulance. We've had to use it once for my son, and for my late brother-in-law it was used. And you just never know when, hopefully, you're not going to need it, but it is there for us, and it runs purely on charity.
Yeah.
So I think they're two very worthy causes.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So it was good to kind of go back to the meaning of why as well. And speaking of that, like, I guess they're the big whys, and then there's also whys for you as well. So what makes you really want to do this? Like,
I'm 55 now and needed a challenge, needed to focus. I've started work at my new job 5 months ago. I seem to be sort of slotting into place with that now. My children have grown up. They don't need me as much because they're all independent. The grandchildren, I like to help out where I can with that. But I just need something for me to focus on, and I want to get fitter. I do think it's quite important to look after yourself physically as well as mentally. So I thought, well, London Marathon, everyone talks about it. I watched it this year, got quite inspired by watching it, seeing the camaraderie. There's a lot of pain and suffering as well. I get that. But it's just that elation, I think, of crossing the line, which I felt when I did the charity bike rides.
Yeah.
And I suppose I just wanted to do it on a bigger scale. And this is a really big scale. For me, this is going to be hard because, like I say, I'm quite busy, fitting it into my time, focusing, trying to put myself first. I'm not very good at putting myself first and giving myself me time. And I need to do that for this in order to cross that finishing line on April the 26th. And I've got to be structured about it. I've got to think about it. It's not something you can just turn up on the start line and just think, oh, it's okay. It's only a few more miles than what I'm used to. It's got to be really structured and really focused. And I think that would be really good for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I actually did a video this morning in our members area. You might have seen it about because I had a question about everything's going all right, but it feels harder to do it right now, and almost a tick box exercise. Okay, with regards to their exercise, it's very interesting. Their home workouts that they do, and it's really interesting because I get that, because actually sometimes it gets to the stage where if something is too easy or not challenging, you automatically lose motivation.
Yeah.
Because it's not challenging and exciting. Not always. Like, sometimes people do need to lower their expectations and do less. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about sometimes we're doing stuff, we've got results, we're quite satisfied, we're quite comfortable with it, and we're comfortable with our habits, with our exercise. And because of that, the motivation isn't there because the reward isn't that high. And that's sometimes where you need to look at things. Maybe not a London Marathon, but something to maybe. And it's the same with me as well. If I'm just exercising, although I have my whys, kids, productivity, health, fitness, feeling good, it makes me a better person, more patient to be around. I compare myself less. I worry less, sleep better. But sometimes has to be a goal on top of that, and that's why I have my own kind of goals within that. So that's cool. Yeah. So with that, I guess looking at that, you said about structure.
Yes.
Well, I think structure, routine in any goal,
making sure I'm eating the right things.
Yeah.
Taking care of myself. I've been very lucky to get you on board, and who's going to help me, motivate me, push me when I need pushing, because it's so easy just to go, oh, well, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that tomorrow. But if you have to become answerable to yourself, but maybe to someone else, for me, that works. It doesn't work for everyone, but it does for me. I've managed to get a physiotherapist who's going to help me through, and a reflexologist that's going to help me through. So I feel like I've built my team, a support network behind me, and it's like my family are on board, and that's massive encouragement for me. And it is, I think, for a lot of people, is people understanding. They think I'm absolutely barking mad, but they will support me and they will help me through, and that in itself will become motivation. And for having the charity, I don't want to let anybody down, so that will again motivate me to fundraise, to run, to to get that sorted. So there's lots of different things. People are motivated by for different reasons. But for me, I've got a certain way of doing things, but I need that support network. I know this is too big a challenge for me to do on my own.
Yeah, that's it. And actually, when you look at like even individual sports like running, there's always a team behind them anyway. And then it's the same with like everything we do, right? Like if you think about life, it's quite interesting. Like you go through school and you have like teachers, you have like people you ask, and then all of a sudden you just go, I've got no one who like tells me off, parents really, no one to kind of get that nod of approval, because babies, their first language essentially is like getting approval, right? You get a smile, a laugh, and it's really funny because all of a sudden after school we have like, we almost expect just to be like ready, go, and then all of a sudden we have, maybe that's why we sometimes seek approval from certain things. I could go into all sorts of tangents here, but in terms of like happiness, having a goal, having purpose, having accountability, having working with like-minded people as well, like be it in the exercise sessions that we do, or in like the yoga sessions to help recovery as well. Like it's good to have support from people who are probably having similar obstacles, be it with motivation, be it with willpower, whatever people call it, time fitting stuff in. Because like you said, to do this, you're going to have to make compromises, right?
Oh, this is going to massively affect one of my biggest things that I love doing is Sunday lunches for my family. And we all enjoy it. It's something my children were brought up with, and they are now bringing their children up with it. It's a really good family gathering. But it takes time to do that, and I'm just not going to have the kind of time that I had, because I need to set aside my weekends for doing much longer runs and things like that. And the compromise is going to be, and I've already warned my family on the WhatsApp group that there's not going to be quite as many roast dinners between now and next April. But yeah, it is a compromise. And I know how tough it was for me to train, because I was living in France when I did the bicycle rides, going out on your own in all weathers, getting yourself in that mindset that you've just got to get out there and do it. And it's never as bad, well, it wasn't always as bad as you think it's going to be. And you've just got to get your mindset around it. And I can remember having a conversation with a guy when I was doing the ride, and he was saying, oh, don't you just love cycling? You just freedom of the countryside, the beautiful countryside and everything around with the training. And I went, yes, all I could think of when I was running around, because we ran a B&B, was how much ironing I had to do when I got back, and I still had a bathroom to clean and all of that sort of thing. So I know you've got to focus and you've got to get on, and it's not going to be an easy journey, but I am really determined to get there.
Well, your family might not like me for this, but what you could do is print off the simple step-by-step roast dinner recipe from the nutrition system, and then do it while you're running, and then
get that. My daughter has already offered to step in and do more and more roast dinners, and she was obviously encouraged and trained by a very good cook, and she does amazing roast dinners. So I think she's going to have to take on the mantle, and my mother's still very good at what she does.
Yeah, perfect, cool. So biggest like obstacles or fears or things that you're a bit worried about right now. So I think it's good to share, because everyone's, although people might not be doing the marathon, like the ladies in the program or people who are watching this, like will have their own fears about being fit enough. Can I do it? Can I do an exercise session? I haven't exercised in a while. Can I do it? Can I fit it in? Like, what are the obstacles do you feel?
At the moment, my major concern is fitness levels and getting fit again. I have this niggly knee problem. which I don't want to exacerbate and make worse, because this is just a once in a lifetime opportunity as far as I see it. I've got the rest of my life to live and I don't want a permanently damaged knee. So I'm trying to be careful. I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop kind of person. So I'm trying to be thoughtful about what I do and how I do it. So this is why I think the classes are going to be good for me, because I'm going to be with like-minded people. I'm not young. And I'm hoping that encouragement by being around other people will help me, will help guide me, really. And having somebody to talk to who's got the same niggles, we're all a bit stiffer in the mornings than we used to be. We're not as fast as we used to be, that sort of thing. So I think I'm just hoping that by becoming part of a group, that support will be there to encourage me to get through. But at time, again, sometimes I get to the end of the week before I even started this thinking, wow, where did that week go? So yeah, I'm going to have to write down, be much more. I'm very much of a tangible person. I need a chart on the side of my training program is pinned to the side of the fridge. I'm going to have to put down my meal plans. I'm going to put that up there. And then I thought I would, like, when I do the sessions with yourself and the class and maybe the mini workouts and the runs, I'm going to write it down so it's a bit of a schedule again, so that I can sort of focus and tick that.
Because sometimes it's not the art of actually doing it, or sorry, not the art of actually what you've done, but actually the art of doing something that then builds momentum. And all of a sudden you look back and when you said, wow, where did that week go? You can look at the ticks and go, wow, I got 3 exercise sessions in, 1 run, whatever, 2 runs, 3 runs. Then you look back and that gives you confidence to continue, because action follows beliefs, and then confidence comes from action. So the problem with that is that we sometimes look for confidence to start, but actually, as much as you kind of build it up and try and give yourself confidence to start, confidence just comes from doing, and that's the hardest bit. But like you said with your cycle, it's never as scary as maybe you make it out to be.
Yeah. And it's quite easy to make excuses not to go out. As I'm talking to you now, I'm looking at the weather outside thinking, that is just dreadful. But I was quite proud of myself, because the other morning I set the alarm for 5:15, and I was out running by 5:30. It was pitch black, it was cold, and it was wet. And I got back, and the sense of elation was amazing. I just felt so pleased and proud of myself for doing it. But I've got to hold that thought, because I'm about to go through a wet, cold, dark season. And keeping that motivation going is going to be key.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm looking out now at the weather, and I'm meant to be, and I will, doing a little workout, using my pull-up bar in the garden, whilst looking after the babies. So whilst eating a roast dinner as well. So that's my afternoon. So yeah, cool. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's coming down to structure, routine, and having a step-by-step, day-by-day plan, which can be adapted depending on how you're finding it, what's working well, what's not, injuries, etc. But the key thing is, and I think when anyone's starting anything, is that you have a plan where you can tick off things like this, like our thing here. So you're ticking off each day with your food fitness focus, and then you can keep score. So when you look back at the week, what did I do? What didn't I do? And you have that accountability straight off. So that straight off, you can see what you're doing, what you're not doing, what's working, what's not, rather than getting to the end of the week and when it goes a bit this, did I do well, what didn't I do, or it's not working, but we don't know what we did. But cool, exciting time. So anything you want to add at the moment? Obviously we're start of a journey, anything you want to add to that?
I think that if anybody's thinking about doing any exercise. I mean, they talk about the adrenaline and the feel good factor you get from it. And all I would just say is, I would reiterate that. And just start with don't do anything as mad as sign up for a marathon, possibly, but just do little steps. Go for a walk. And then it's like you say, it's a cliche, and you hear about the ones that like get off the bus stop, the stop before, or don't use the lift, climb the stairs. And then before you know it, you're just doing things as second nature, and you're just getting more active. And I know from, I was not in a good place when I started the Couch to 5K last year. But again, the pride I had in myself when I achieved it. I was not a runner at school. I did 100 meter sprint. School was a long time ago, but I was just a 100-meter sprinter, and that was it. I hated cross country, hated long running. I was rubbish at it. So I was really proud of the fact I did it. But again, I had to get off that couch and to those classes and commit to doing it. And I did it. And, and I'm hopefully I'll be saying the same in 24 weeks.
Yeah.
But just go out and do it. But don't try to do too much, is what I think is what I would say to anybody. Try to do little steps at a time and give yourself time to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously like this week's been quite frustrating for you, right? With your injury.
Yes, I haven't been able to run this week.
And you want to run.
I want to run. I need to run. I have to run.
Yeah, I bring that up because most people say, I want motivation. Okay, but motivation can be, if you have motivation, you can't do something, that can end up being the thing that why you're beating yourself up. It's very interesting. Yeah, like facets, but what you've done instead is getting the home workouts in.
Yes.
You're focusing on what you can do. And the reason I'm bringing that up is even if you've got an injury, even if you've got something, there's always something you can do. The human brain almost default will go to the thing that you can't do because that's what we're focused on, right? When you focus on the pain, it makes it worse. Like I'll never forget when I used to play football, younger, and there'd be one kid, and he always used to dislocate his knee.
Oh,
like quite often. It'd be like every other game. And when I looked at it, I'd be like, oh my God. And then people go, no, don't do that because he's got a method. He looks away and don't make a big deal and he doesn't think about it. And it used to work for him. But when he thought about it, then he was in pain. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would just reminds me of that. It's funny how lessons come up. But anyway, yeah, great to chat. And obviously we're going to be kind of going through the journey as we go in, any obstacles, going through food stuff, meal plans, etc., and sharing a lot of stuff. Yeah, cool, perfect. Anything else at all at the moment you can think of you want to add right now?
Just if you see me in a class or anything like that, just come, please do come and say hi and tell me how mad I am doing it.
Well, who knows? We might start a coffee and run club within it. Who knows?
I'm quite good at baking cakes. I'm very good at eating them as well, unfortunately.
No, we had a Macmillan morning. Billy ran he was on the podcast the other week. Who's a bra fitter. She did a Macmillan morning recently, and everyone made cakes. See?
Yeah, that's what we need. Cake sales. I need it for the charity.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Brilliant. Well, great to catch up and go through this, and yeah, we'll keep everyone updated. We'll be having Linda will be updating a lot as well, so do follow Linda as well. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, and see ya. Bye.
See ya.